I'm Arlan, and I have invested in more than 200 companies since 2015. Right now, my mission is to help 1,000 people become millionaires over the next 10 years. And I think you can be one of them. In a previous video, I taught you how to go from 0 to 10,000. What I want to talk about right now is that first 1,000, because I got so much feedback from you that getting from 0 to 1,000 was so helpful. So many of you have. Congratulations, but let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. When I was looking at your comments from the 0 to 10,000 video, I saw a lot of you took my advice and made your first 1,000 in 7 days. But some of you still did not know how to get started. So let's talk about that. The first thing I want you to do is to leverage your current job. So we're talking about making an extra $1,000 over the next 7 days. And I say 7 days really to give you some momentum and a North Star. But it's okay if you don't reach that number. If you surpass the number, that's even better. But don't put so much pressure on yourself and think of yourself as failing if you don't reach it. The point of this is to start to build that muscle and build that skill. When you're looking at your current job, think about a few things. Is there a way to pick up additional shifts? Now, one of the things I care about so much is getting to the point where you're not paid only for your time, but for your very existence. So we're not going to use this forever, but it is a great way to make fast cash, and that's what we're talking about right now. We want it to be sustainable and ethical, so we're not doing a get-rich scheme and we're not doing anything that's illegal. You're gonna go to your job and see if you can pick up more shifts. Or is there some sort of commission-based program that they have that maybe you are not a part of right now, but you can get signed up? And can you put some of your sales skills to work? I remember when I was working as a data entry person back in the day, I was probably 22, 21, and I would do 10 key by touch, which is very boring, I know, but I was really fast at it. So I would type, and at the end of each month, we would get a little bit of a bonus if we typed faster, if we got more checks typed. And so it became something that was competitive for me, and I would do it. And that's something you can look at. Is there some sort of personal development money at your company that you have not tapped into? A lot of larger companies, and now more and more startups, will put aside a few hundred or even a couple of $1,000s for personal development for individuals. This could be used for education, especially online education. It can be used to go to an event. It could be used for a lot of purposes. At one point, for a couple of years at Backstage Capital, my venture firm, we had almost 40 people signed up as either full-time, part-time, or fractional. And what I did was I gave everyone one trip to a conference a year to level up. And it did not have to be associated with our company. It could be anything that they felt made them a better employee. And many companies have this in place. Are you missing out on that? And could you go research and find that money there? Another way to go from 0 to 1,000 is to pick up some fractional work. Yes, gig work. I'm talking DoorDash, I'm talking Instacart, Uber, one of those places. Again, this is not forever. This is to pick up some cash and go through that process so that you can build the muscle of, when I need money, I'm willing to go earn money. Can you do that? I highly recommend my own fractional company, HireRunner.co. You can sign up to be a runner and people will book you to help them. Now, it's going to take a little bit longer in some cases, depending on what your skill set is with Runner, because we are such an early company, but there are hundreds and hundreds of people who have made money using Runner. Can you book yourself to help someone fractionally, but see if they can pay you upfront for the month? It may be someone you already know, so they trust you. It may be someone where they vet you, they talk to a couple of your references. But either way, have you asked? Have you tried that? This is all about digging through, researching, rolling up your sleeves and making it work. We don't want to be in a position where we can't do anything. We can't figure it out. Another thing we can do is something that I'm so excited about. I have been a customer of this company for about 3 years. I've used it to earn tens of thousands of dollars, just bootstrapped. It's called Bump Sale. I don't own this company, although I used to. I owned it for a couple of months because I loved it so much. But I sold it back to the owner because he just loved it so much, and I felt like he needed to still be the owner of this company. He's so perfect for it. Go to bumpsale.co. I don't get paid to say this. I just love it as a customer. What you do with bumpsale.co is you use it to install incremental payments on your website. And what you can do with this is, let's say you have a course, a mini course. Let's say you have something that is normally worth $100 or $300 or even more. Maybe it's a t-shirt, maybe it's a signed poster or a numbered something in succession. You have something that's physical or that's digital. My recommendation to start is digital, so you don't have to spend a lot of money shipping. And you started at a number. You started at $1. This is what I normally do. But you can start at any price you want. Start it at $1. And then what the 2 lines of code that you add to your site from bumpsale.co will do is let you sell the next item for another increment and so on and so forth. So for instance, this is what I normally do. Let's say I do a bundle. I love selling bundles. Digital bundles, meaning here's 3 courses here that cost $25 or $100 or $300. I'm going to bundle them all together, and this is going to be a summer sale or some sort of special thing. I did it for my birthday. I've done it for New Year's Eve. And it's going to start at $1. So the first person who buys it is going to pay $1, and it's going to go up by $1 each time. So the next person who buys it is going to spend $2 on it, and then $3, and so on and so forth. And then what happens is that people jump on it. They want to get that price. They want to get it at $27, at $59, at $75, because it normally would cost $300 retail. And there is a calculator on the bumpsale.co website that shows you what increments and combinations will bear. So for instance, approximately, if you were to sell 100 in that scenario, you would make approximately $5,000. So for $1,000, let's see, it would be 45 or so items. So $45 or $46, right? The best way to do it is have something that costs about 5 times the highest amount you want someone to pay or you expect someone to pay. So if you want to make $1,000, you can try this over a weekend. You would find something that you sell or build something, a course or something that's valuable that costs normally $225 or more. You would start it at $1 and put an increment of $1 using bumpsale.co. And then you would tell your mailing list and your social and your friends and your Facebook and your Instagram, your LinkedIn, you would tell them, hey, this is a discount for you. This is a huge discount for you. And you can get this for this weekend only or until we reach a certain amount. People will buy that and it may go to $5 or it may go to $500. You don't know. But what you want to do is you don't want to cannibalize, meaning you don't want to do this every week because the people who are going to pay retail price, they're going to find out about this. They're not going to want to pay retail if you're constantly putting it on sale. You also want to, if you've recently sold this at a higher price, you want to let your current customers know. And what you would do there is say, this is an opportunity for you to buy for your friend or to send your friend to this to get this discount. And you're seeing it first, so you get the lowest amount first. And then I'll put it out publicly. I have done this 10 or 12 times in the past 3 years. And I have made, the first time I did it, I made $20-something thousand in 48 hours. It was ridiculous. And then since then I've made maybe 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000. And of course, it's something that you really want to be smart about. You don't want to cannibalize or offend anyone, but it can be a really amazing value for your customers. There are so many people who have thanked me for having bump sales because it gives them the access that they would not have had prior to it. It's really, really great hack. Another way to make your first 1,000 or your extra 1,000 is to sell $25, $40, $50 tickets to a live workshop that you're doing online. You may even do it in person if you have a place that'll let you do it for free or for very little. And if you already have an in-person gathering, you know that people would show up to it. So that could be 20 people for $50 wanting to learn over a weekend or sometime during a week how to do something that you know how to do. You would spend 45 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes to 2 hours with them, and you would teach them. You would go online and you can use a website called beautiful.ai to create a presentation for you in seconds. So if you go to beautiful.ai, again, I'm not being paid to say this, I just use it myself. You go there, you type in a little bit of information, it will build out a draft presentation deck for you, and then you can take that, edit it, add some photos to it, take it to Zoom, share it on screen, and walk through your presentation, teaching people things that are valuable to them that will be more valuable than the $50 they paid or the $20 they paid or the whatever they paid to be on the workshop. I recently did this with a $27 YouTube workshop that was 1 hour. I charged for the live session and then I charged for the replay the same amount. And I was able to do more than 1,000 with that. Now, of course, I have a large audience. I have a large mailing list of nearly 30,000 people. I get it, but you can do this with a much smaller mailing list, and you can do it really with your social if you try. As long as you're providing something that's valuable, you can do this. Now, there are going to be some people who say in the comments, I already know, they're going to say, you have all of these things set up. You have a venture fund, you're an investor, you have all the fancy things that one needs to do this. I want to remind anyone who has forgotten or tell you if you're hearing it for the first time, I was homeless for several years. I was broke for several years. I found my way out of that by doing some of the things that I'm teaching you here. This is what I mean by figuring stuff out and not being a victim to things. No one is coming to save us. And so we have to learn these skills ourselves. It's why it's so important to me to provide this information to you. There are things that are within your control right now that you can chart your own destiny and you can get out of those circumstances. I feel you. I know that there's so much against us on a daily basis. Still to this day, believe me, I'm going through it. But I know that you can get yourself out of the circumstances. One thing you want to do too is you want to ask for help. You want to bring people into your circumstances. What do I say? Stay hungry, not thirsty. You don't want to be desperate, because when people feel desperation from you, they tend to want to go the other way because they're dealing with things on their own, and your desperation, it adds to them. And they may not have the ability or the desire to do that. But if you present it more like an opportunity, or more like, actually, I just need help. Here are the 5 things that I'm doing over here to get myself out of the situation. I just need a little bit more help to keep going. You're going to get a lot more interaction and response from that. Another way you can go from 0 to 1,000 quickly is by doing something for someone else. Do you know how to design? Can you make a website? With the AI technology that we have today, and that's going to be dwarfed in a year and a year after that, you can build things and do things faster, better, and cheaper for other people than ever before, as long as you're willing to learn about it. You can spend 10 hours on YouTube today or tomorrow or this week. You can learn a skill, you can learn things around marketing that skill, and you can actually make this money. There are so few excuses left today. Even 10 years ago when I was homeless, more than half of the stuff that's available now was not available. But we figure it out, right? We keep evolving. So what is something that you could do for someone else? Can you write someone's speech they're about to give? Somebody out there that you may know is about to get paid $10,000 to speak at some event. Would they pay you $500 to write the speech for them? I think so. Yeah, if they don't know how to write it, or if they don't have the time to write it, Potentially. Would they pay you $250 to $1,000 to sit with them for 2 hours and get them prepped for that speech, or give them confidence, or walk them through, or pay you in advance for 4 live sessions of ... There's a lot you can do for someone else and get paid a larger amount of money up front. So you can go to, hey, I'm gonna try to do the bump sale, or I'm gonna try to sell this course. But what if you could get that $1,000 from one person? It's about leveraging your time and intention. When you're trying to go from 0 to 1,000, please try to focus on one thing. I know the instinct might be to try 5 different things to see what sticks and what works, but you will only be able to do 20% of a job if you do that. There's only one of you, there's only 100% of you, no matter how good you are and how great you are. So try to focus on something and see if it works. Now you can pivot after a while if it's not working out, but to try to do things all at once is really going to be to your detriment. So that's one thing I want you to focus on, is like that one thing. What am I going to do? Of all these options, what am I going to focus on? Here's something that you may not know. So I look at all of the metrics for my videos on YouTube after I post them. And on average, 85% of you watching this are not subscribed. So right now, subscribe, right this moment, just take a pause, subscribe right now so that you don't miss any of my videos. If this video has given you any value, if you're gonna do anything that I've mentioned here, and especially if I've helped make money for you, you want to subscribe and send this to someone else you want to see win. That's the biggest way you can help me, the biggest way you can help your friend. Another thing I wanna talk about is selling things. A lot of us have things in our closet, in our storage, things that we are holding on to that we do not need or use. We can sell those things on a multitude of websites to get that first $1,000. Because what you're trying to do is put yourself in a position to be able to do this sustainably and get yourself out of a situation if you need to. And also kickstart your way to the 10,000. If you want to know how to get to your first 10,000, definitely check out the video that I did just a few weeks ago. So what can you sell, or what can you actually rent out? There's some things that you have that you might be able to rent out. Do you have camera equipment or things for around the house that are kind of expensive? So someone may not want to go out and buy it, but they can rent it from you a week at a time. There's one way to look at it. Is there something you can do where you take the equipment you have, you go do something with the equipment that is in exchange for $250, $500, or $1,000? Think about what you could do. One example I have is back in, I want to say 2011-ish, very specifically in Pearland, Texas, when I was homeless, living out of a hotel with my mom. I had an old DSL camera. I am good at photography. I had some film, because it was film back then, y'all. And I had the ability to go to like a CVS or Walmart and get on a disc these pictures that I took. So what I did was I went online and I said, I am doing engagement photos. So I would go, and there were photos that you took at the wedding, and I didn't have the equipment to do that. I really wanted to, but I just didn't have the equipment to do it. And I didn't want to ruin someone's big day. But what I could do is, with the little equipment I had and my eye, I could make some great engagement photographs. So I would sell my time and my skill by doing that. So maybe for $300, you would get 8 photographs in 2 setups at a lake. And I use the lake a lot. I'd find a lake in Texas. I'd meet the couple at the lake. I'd spend a couple of hours with them taking photographs, and they would be dressed up, you know, in a nice casual way, but kind of nice, like you're going to church or something. And we take these photos and they'd have a great time. And I'd tell them within, you know, X number of days, what you'll get is the CD of all the proofs, meaning all the pictures that I took, no matter how good or bad they are. And then for some of those, you can get those printed. I'll send you the prints, 5x8, 4x6, etc., of 8x10, of some of these prints that you like the most. And so you had that package. You also had the CD that had all the proofs if you wanted to get them printed elsewhere. And now you have this keepsake. So I did that. I built a website that was okay. It got the job done. I think I paid someone a couple $100s to do that when I finally could. They built that. You know, when I couldn't, I would just go to a Squarespace or go to somewhere and just start something. If you go to Card, C-A-R-R-D, that's a company you can go to. And for free, and then there's a premium model that you can purchase if you'd like, you can make beautiful landing pages for what you need that click off to your Stripe account, click off to your PayPal, click off to instructions of how to wire you. Don't let your current circumstances stop you from succeeding. If I had done that when I was sleeping on the floor of the San Francisco airport just 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, I would not be here today. I would not have 200 companies invested in. I would not have been on the cover of Fast Company, currently on the cover of Black Enterprise, traveling the world, speaking about the work that I do and helping thousands of founders make their first million. I know you can get to your first million. You'll be one of the 1,000 I want to help in the next 10 years do the same. And to do that, you start with your first 1,000. I want you to leave a comment right below and let me know which of these things you're going to try, which of these things you've already have set up that you didn't realize. You're like, wait a second, I can do that. Or I can go to my job and ask them if there's something that I can do. There is a way to do this. Let me know in the comments what your plans are so that we can see what your progress is over time.